Hello everybody, welcome back to another Mystic Islands video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Guys, I'm almost done with school. Mystic Islands is going to be ramping up quite a bit, coming very soon. So lots of new cards in production at the moment. The set has just been finished. I just need the artwork, and we're going to keep testing out the cards as well. But for today, we're going to be doing another tier list video. I know you guys like these, and I promise we're going to do a royalty faction one in the next one, and here we are. So we've already done the skeleton faction and the goblin faction. I know these videos take a minute, so let's just get right into it. So first off, we have Noble Knight. So Noble Knight is a 2 cost, 1 attack, 2 defense, gain X health this turn, which basically means when casted. And X stands for the amount of cards left in your hand with a limit of 3. So usually you just cast it to gain 3 health. Not the greatest card, its stats aren't great. So I'm going to put it in C tier. Then we got Dusk Rider. Cost 6, 7 attack, 6 defense, and whenever Dusk Rider kills another creature, you're going to give a +1 attack, +1 defense counter to all royalty faction on the battlefield, except for him. So this is actually was a very good card in set 1, but now over time as set 2 has come and removal's a little bit easier to get. It's not really worth it to pay 6 crystals. If you can somehow cheat him into play or get some extra crystals advantage and then cast him, this could be a very good card for you, but you got to keep him alive. That's the big thing. So he's alright. I'm going to also throw him in, I'll throw him in B tier because the benefit is you pay a lot of crystals up front for Dusk Rider, and then you can pay some cheap guys and get them buffed over time. But it is a little bit of a tough strategy. Next card is Fallen Knight. This first ability card we're looking at. Cost 2. If a knight creature died this turn, the opposing caster takes damage equal to the amount that the knight took. Now this could be, I could see this card withstanding the tests of time once the role and species of cards become more prevalent in the game. As of right now, though, it's not the biggest deal because there's not many knights. So I'm going to throw this in D tier for now, but I could definitely see it climbing the ranks over time. We got Lonesome Knight. Cost 2, 3 attack, 1 defense. This guy is just a vanilla creature, but he's not a bad one. I'm going to throw him in D tier as well, just because he doesn't really give you an advantage. Primary Foot Soldier, 1 attack, 1 defense for 1. When he enters the battlefield, gain a health. This synergizes pretty well with the faction, but not going to be a great card. We're going to put it in C tier. Speech of the Dead, cost 2. Return the top creature from your graveyard to your hand. Once that creature dies again, you banish it. Now, this is actually a decent card because it doesn't specifically say it has to be a royalty faction creature, so this could be thrown in with any other deck, pretty much, any other faction, and it'll still work. Not an amazing card, but I'll throw it in B tier though. Pretty solid. Now, Sharpshooter is a different story. Cost 2. 3 attack, 2 defense. When this card is casted, gain life equal to the amount of royalty faction creatures on the battlefield prior to casting that creature, and it has a limit of 4. But this card is great. I'm going to throw it in S tier. I think it's almost like a Goblin Nightcrawler, but the complete opposite. This is definitely some people's favorite card right here. Regret. I actually kind of regret making this card. It costs 2. Discard 3 cards, gain 3 health. This is an S tier. Obviously an F tier card. This is horrible. Don't ever put this in your deck. Iron Fist Brawler. Costs 2. 2 attack, 2 defense. Every time another Iron Fist Brawler enters the battlefield, put a +1 attack, +1 defense counter on this creature. If you draw 2 in your opening hand, it can become very dangerous very fast, especially if if they die, you bring it back with Speech of the Dead, and you can make this kind of a combo in itself. I don't know if it would be the best strategy competitively, but it's definitely a fun deck to run. It's not the most reliable deck though, so I am going to throw it in B tier. We got Kingdom Guard. Cost 3, 3 attack, 4 defense. As long as it's the only creature on your battlefield, it gets +1 attack until it's not the only one on the battlefield anymore. So this is a pretty decent card to open the game with because you get a 4/4 for 3, so that's good value. Honestly, not a bad card at all. I'll probably throw it in B tier. It's better alone, which kind of goes against what the royalty faction likes to do. We got Stranded Soldier. This guy's kind of similar. It costs 1, 1 attack, 2 defense. If this is the only creature on the battlefield, on your battlefield, sorry, put a +1 attack, +1 defense on it until it's not. So almost the same effect there, but it's 2 crystals cheaper and a lot easier to play turn 1. This is actually a decent play on turn 1. This might be a little controversial, but I'm going to throw it in A tier. I feel like it's a pretty solid 1 cost creature. It is. We got Destined Knight. Cost 3, 3 attack, 3 defense. Gain 1 health when this creature dies. Now, it sounds pretty decent, but in reality, it's really not that good, and it's not really worth having just a 3/3 with a death effect that's so slim. So we're going to throw it in C tier. We got Moonlight Knight, a rare. Came out in set 1, cost 5, 6 attack, 6 defense. When you cast this creature, you have to sacrifice a creature worth 2 crystals or less on your battlefield, so big downside there. But it has Obstruct, not a huge deal, but Idle is definitely the thing that you want to look at on this card. So it's going to cost you a lot up front to get this guy, but you will get a 6/6 that is not affected by ability cards. Now that is great. The only problem is getting it out on the field. So this dude's actually going to go in A tier. I'm going to throw him in A tier. I know he costs so much, but for what you get, it's a really good card. We're going to go Young Sword Wielder. Cost 1, 1 attack, 1 defense. When this creature is killed, it goes to the bottom of your deck instead of the graveyard. Not a crazy effect unless you're running Pirates, probably Raven the Raider there. So I'm going to throw it in D tier. We got Infantry Support, cost 4, 4 attack, 4 defense. While this creature is on the battlefield, all primary foot soldiers get +1 attack, +1 defense until this card is destroyed. So it's a pretty standard card there, and this was actually a pretty good card in set 1 as well. It can still be pretty good, but it's not going to be a game wrecker or anything like that. I'll probably throw it in B tier. Sword of the Mighty, cost 2. Target creature gets +1 attack, +1 defense until death, and you throw this in the bottom of your graveyard. It's still definitely an advantage, but I don't know if it's an A or an S tier card anymore. I'll probably throw this one in B as well. We got King Edwards, cost 6 crystals or 9 health. He has 10 defense. You can tap him to put a +1 defense counter on all Royalty Faction creatures this turn. Pay 1 crystal to gain 2 health. And you can also pay to add 1 health to him. Now, I know this goes with the theme of Royalty Faction, and the artwork is probably one of my favorite in the game. I love the artwork. Can't wait to recreate it digitally. But the thing is, in reality, I don't feel like he's a good leader. So I'll probably put him in C tier. I don't think I could put him any higher than that. Centronium Knight, cost 3, 3 attack, 3 defense. Shout out to Ilaria TCG. When casted, choose 1. Give target creature +1/+1 this round. Or you could roll a 6-sided die. If you roll a 6, this creature gets +2/+2 until death. So you're either going to take a chance or you're going to take a smaller guarantee. So the upside is that you get a 5/5 for 3 if you get lucky, which is very good. And the worst that this card can be is just a 3/3 and you buff one of your other creatures. So you know what? It's actually pretty solid. I'll probably throw it into A tier. Amulet of Life, cost 4. Gain health equal to the amount of creatures you control on the battlefield. Now, as I said with all the amulets, they are decently useful at gaining you some crystals if you combo with them, but on their own, they're not that great. Could see it getting better, but the cost is really hurting me, so I'm going to throw it in D tier for now. Cairo Royal Knight, cost 3, 2 attack, 4 defense. When casted, gain 2 health. Boom, health right away. And you get Idle, one of my favorite skills. So it can't be affected by ability cards, and it's grounded, so it can't be banished either. So this dude is literally not going to move unless your opponent kills him with a creature. I feel like this is actually an S tier card. I know some people might disagree, but I love using this card to stall out my opponent while I come up with some way to beat their board state. Shattered Weapon, put a -6 attack value on target creature until the rest of this round. This has saved me quite a bit of times, and this is just a lot more useful than Sword of the Mighty because you're affecting your opponent's creature rather than yours, and it's by 6 points of damage. You can use this to save your own creature or just save yourself. So this is actually a really good card. I'm going to throw it in A tier. We got No Mercy, cost 2. Target creature with 2 attack or less is banished. This is an S tier card. There's a lot of cards in the game that cost 2 or less that are definitely annoying to play against, and they're just trying to deal as much damage to you as possible. Looking at goblins here, pirates. So with No Mercy, you can banish them and get them out of the field. You don't technically trigger their death effect too, so this is really good against skeletons. Rebel Knight, cost 1, 1 attack, 1 defense. When casted, gain health equal to the amount of Rebel Knights in your graveyard. So obviously, and he's untapped as well. Can't look over that. Untapped is great for a 1/1 in general, but basically he gets better the longer the game goes on. So if you're really trying to gain health and stay as far away from death as possible against your opponent here, this dude's going to come in real handy to hit with some strikes and gain you some more health. So this card is a S tier card, one of my favorites in the faction, and I like the artwork too. We got Queen Olivia. Cost 5 crystals or 8 health. She only has 7 defense though, so that is kind of concerning. Can tap to gain 1 health, not bad. Can pay 1 to put a +1 defense counter on royalty faction creature for this turn only. I'd probably want to use King Edward's if I was looking for that effect anyway. You can add 1 health to her, and then you can, this is kind of a unique effect where you can pay 4 to make target creature a 4 attack 4 defense with no effect box. So this is kind of like a last resort. So if you just need a dude that's a little bit bigger, you're taking a risk here, but you can transform him into a 4/4. Is also not one of the greatest leaders in the game. I'm probably going to throw it in B tier. Royalty is definitely going to need a better leader in set 3, and they'll get it. Advanced Duelist, cost 3, 4 attack 2 defense. If this creature deals damage to the opposing caster, the controller of this creature gains 1 health. This is a very good card. Just good stats in general. Aggressive, which you don't see much of with the royalty faction. And with his aggressiveness, he actually gains you a little bit of health if he touches your opponent at all. So that is pretty good as well. I might throw it in, I'm gonna throw it in A tier. I'm not gonna throw it in S. Can be picked off decently easy because of the 2 health there. We got Foot Soldier Fleet, rare for set 2, cost 5, 5 attack, 5 defense. Every time a primary foot soldier enters the battlefield, put a +1 attack, +1 defense counter on this creature until death. It's not a bad card at all, especially because you can bring it back from the graveyard. So if you can get it to work, could be a very good card for you. I wouldn't rely on it though. I will throw it in B tier. Worthy Kingdomite, cost 6, 6 attack, 6 defense. When casted, put a +1 attack, +1 defense on all royalty faction creatures on the battlefield this turn. And as long as this creature is alive, every time you cast another royalty faction creature, gain a health. The effects on this creature are great. If he costed like 4, because he costs 6, it is very hard to cast him. So I'm going to throw him into C tier, although his effects are great. We got Armed Serviceman, cost 1, 1 attack, 1 defense. And he has Battleborn. So this is something you guys haven't seen that much, is Battleborn. I don't know if I ever explained it, but it's a keyword that says, while in combat, this creature gets +1 attack, +1 defense. So when he's just sitting on the battlefield or tapped, he is just a 1/1, but when he's in combat, so defending or attacking, becomes a 2/2. So this is pretty good actually. Good for early game, late game, doesn't really matter as much. Still a pretty solid creature. So I'm going to throw him in A tier. I actually really like using him. He's pretty good in like a rogue style deck. And we got Reserved Soldier, cost 2, 2 attack, 1 defense. When a royalty faction creature that you control dies while he's out on the field, he gets +2 defense. So he's basically plays off of the Reserved Soldier idea there of when it's his time to step up, he's going to be stronger. If you catch him as a 2/1, he's not very good, but if you catch him as a 2/3, he is pretty good. So it's kind of hard to put him in a specific place. I'm going to throw him in B tier once again. So there you go. There is our royalty faction tier list. We just got 1 card in F, and it is Regret. So I still have to do the Dwarf faction, Mage faction, and Pirate faction tier list. So let me know which one you want me to do. Also Neutral faction, can't forget about that one. That'll probably be like a 2-minute video. Also, because the set is taking so long, I'm definitely going to be trying to come up with some more interesting content for you guys to watch. Countdown videos and gameplay videos hopefully coming very soon. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. Let me know if you would change anything. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.